Hi, Phil Aston here from Now Spinning Magazine with another unboxing video, but it's kind of more than that. This is an artist that my oldest son really likes, and it's someone I've known about for a long time, and I love so much of his music. I've recently reviewed Kirsty MacColl's box set as well, and there's a connection between the two of them. But Billy Bragg has always been there, kind of behind the scenes, with his very, very observational music, lyrics, and political views as well in many ways. I remember when I was in the 80s, and I was in a metal band, and I remember coming off stage and I was sitting down with one of the members of the band, and we were just talking about stuff and everything, and the singer said, "Phil, this Billy Bragg guy, not sure about his music, but the stuff he sings about, we're all thinking it, aren't we? We're all thinking it." I thought, yeah, we are. We were totally with him lyrically, we really were. And I think that the thing with age and listening to obviously the rootsy, folky stuff he does, and lyrically as well, this is fantastic. But the reason I really want to dive into this, because this is a brilliant example of how a record company can think of what the fan wants in conjunction with the artist. This has been done with complete collaboration with the artists themselves, and they've thought about everybody. The person who wants everything, the person that just wants to find out more, the person that wants to find out a bit more, whether that's CD or vinyl. The label's Cooking Vinyl. I've got loads of stuff by them. The Deacon Blue stuff, the Alan Parsons giant box set. But even though they're called Cooking Vinyl Records, they really believe in the CD format. And this is a perfect example where vinyl works. And you'll see there's a single vinyl version, there's a triple vinyl version, there's a 2 CD version. And for the box set, the only way this was going to work was on a CD. And it's huge. And let's show you now, literally, what this package looks like. So here it is. So this is Billy Bragg, the Roaring 40, 1983 to 2023, 40th anniversary collection, limited vinyl editions, a 2 CD edition, and a 14 CD box set as well. Let's start with the 2 CD edition first of all. So this is a great overview for someone who just wants to know a bit more about Billy Bragg. This is about I think 39 tracks on it. There are 2 CDs in a digipack. There's a booklet in the middle with some pictures of Billy, and then all the tracks with who produced them, where the remasters are from, etc. And some more live pictures at the back. So if you just want to dive in and have kind of an overview of Billy Bragg's career, that's a fantastic place to be. For vinyl fans, you have 2 options. You have the single album, which is basically 13 tracks. So that's the absolute cream of his output. And this is on orange vinyl. So that's one option you have. But if you're kind of at a point where you'd like to have the CD equivalent on vinyl, then the one to get is this, which is the 40 song 3 LP collection. And this is in 3 shades of vinyl. So the same kind of design as the other vinyl edition, with the way that the track listing is. But the albums themselves, they all come with download codes as well. They have all the tracks on. So we have shade 1 of green, and then we have shade 2 of green, and I don't know why, but this is my favourite shade of green in this set, which is this one. So that's the triple vinyl edition. But the main one, and where the cream of this collection lives, is here. This absolutely stupendous, wonderful design and execution of a design in this box set. And you can see it there on the back, that all the CDs and the amount of tracks that are here, and the amount of research that's gone into this. Each CD is between 70 and 80 minutes long. It's literally everything I think that Billy's probably done. Once you lift the lid, there is a booklet, which I'll come to last, as I normally do. All the CDs are in little gatefold sleeves with all the tracks. So you've got like the EPs or albums, alternative versions, John Peel sessions. I mean, they're all listed exactly the same way. You can actually see there's tons of stuff here, as I said. So these are from the albums, the EPs. So the design is very similar, the pictures are different. And that's basically how the CDs are done. So I'll go through some of these later, but that's basically, I don't want to go through every single one and take up too much time. But there's 14 discs, each with a gatefold sleeve, absolutely packed with information. But I really want to spend some time showing you the booklet. Because it's not like a normal booklet, it's a softback booklet. But whereas normally you've had some journalist talking about a story and lots of pictures, Billy Bragg himself has pulled this together. And it's like a book of memorabilia at various points dropping in his career. And I found this a refreshing take on a career overview booklet, if you like. So there's a picture here of his first guitar, and it tells you about the pickup and the controls, etc. Then his first solo gig started on the 4th of March 1982 here, with his illustration here. And then when he sent off a cassette tape to Melody Maker, the review, and the reviews printed in full, which of course then generated some interest from Charisma, and these included a letter from Charisma saying that they'll release some tracks. I really love it. We would own the record for the world and would pay a royalty of 8%, rising to 9% after 10,000 sales and 10% after 50,000 sales. I hope this reflects our discussion. And then, of course, we go on about Barney Bubbles. Of course, he worked with Hawkwind. Billy doesn't mention that here, but obviously Barney Bubbles worked a lot with artists he liked as well. So you've got some publicity photos. The poster for the Tube TV station. I remember seeing him on that. The NME, his first time he appeared on the NME. Obviously, Billy preferred the NME, whereas I liked Sounds and Melody Maker, whereas ironically, it was Sounds and Melody Maker that actually championed him pretty early on. And then there's some flyers here, and then this is great because when I looked at this, prefab sprouts, so what's the connection? But the connection was nothing to do with them. It's the fact that as he got inspiration for lyrics, he would just write them on whatever he had available, and so this is him writing lyrics around an advert of a prefab sprout while he was on the train coming back from London from a show in Huddersfield. And then you've got a number plate, which he was given after doing his first 1,000,000 miles, because he had to be driven everywhere because he didn't drive at the time. And then his next guitar is listed here. And then, of course, this must have looked better for PR than it was in actual practice, when he looked like a busker going round with these speakers on the back of his shoulders. The Little Red Songbook, of course, was a big thing. And then, of course, we've got more stuff here again, because he was really into soul music, and so he was sharing his membership card here, Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, and then of course some adverts which he's used for some of his graphics, and of course the Miner's Lamp, which he was part in a benefit gig with Elvis Costello and the Attractions at Logan Hall in London, and some tickets here as well, and a guitar flight case. So all of these things are things that are personal to Billy. Now, the Roland Cube, I have to say, as a musician, that was a much sought after thing. It was like, he said, why have a 2-tier Marshall stack 4x4 when you could have one of them? Of course, for the rock world, it just didn't look big enough, but it certainly did the job. Talking here about design, his tote bag, Red Wedge, of course, manifesto about the miners' strike and Thatcher, which is very important to Billy, and of course those of us in the UK. And a Fender Telecaster electric guitar, and the amount of people that talk about Telecasters now, and it's crossed over where it was, because Billy's guitar style was very aggressive rhythm player, so it's wonder his D-string lasted as long as it probably did. Some gold discs here for Billy for Wet Wet Wet, and DIY Canadian tour jacket, and this is a map of where he went on his USA tour. I found this absolutely fascinating, and all the gigs he went to. And then again, lyrics and a story behind them. And this is based on when Billy became a dad, which is Jack. And it talks about how obviously he took almost a year off from writing songs and then got back into songwriting. And I just think this is really personal and an opening. And then, of course, Woody Guthrie, who he actually was a great hero of Billy's, and he actually covered some of his music. And I think this is a great story, because obviously there's a connection here with Bob Dylan and another guitar, which is interesting as well, which is the Jim Dyson Tone Deluxe electric guitar. And then his crew jacket. And this is the selected gold disc is in here because of his partner Juliet had been in the music business a lot longer than Billy, and they obviously became a couple, and this is very important to him. It shows that how important Juliet has been in his life, and it's a whole connecting his kind of musical history together. And then we have some stampers for the albums, and again his route guide for Texas. And then you won't be able to see all of this, I know, but this is, as you go through the CDs, the reason why the CDs obviously have got all the tracks on as I said, in a little gatefold, but what they do here is you've got the absolute breakdown of where the tracks are from, what album, the extras, where the tracks are from, the history behind them, who plays on them, the musicians, etc. Everything is included. And the reason why this is so detailed and it's so extensive, obviously it's Cooking Vinyl who absolutely are brilliant at this, but also because Billy Bragg himself has been involved in this. It says at the end, pulling together a box set of this magnitude is an epic endeavour recurring over a year of painstaking research, dipping through archives, unearthing masters, tracking down right holders, etc. And in fact, there's one thing I'd like to read out, because I think it's important, which is, it says here on this bit about the albums, and there's a kind of a graphical photograph of one of the album stampers. In the 40 years since my first album, the recording industry has changed beyond all recognition. Digitization has reduced the experience of listening to music to the extent that those who only stream this album over the internet will not see these sleeve notes. Yet the revival of vinyl sales suggests there is still those out there who appreciate the artifacts and artistry involved in the physical production and dissemination of recorded music. And that, Billy's talking about the vinyl really there, it is this CD set that sits at the top of this 40th anniversary of Billy's work, literally as the main part of the output to me. It's absolutely superb. Anyway, I'll just give a little summary of what I think now. So that's the Roaring 40. Billy Bragg, from literally 1983 to 2023, so we're right up to date with a career-defining box set, which I think retails at about £110. I think that for what you get an artist's entire career, especially when you know there are some box sets out there that are over £200, which are focused on one album. And there's so much to enjoy. I cannot admit to saying that I've played all 14 CDs at this point. I've been dipping in and out of more time. Each one of them is between 75 and 85 minutes long. They're absolutely packed with albums, EPs, outtakes, radio sessions. But some of my favourite moments, because Billy talks about all the things, and it's universal. He's managed to traverse the globe, as you saw in the booklet, when he got his number plate on his car was over 1 million miles or something, is that it works in every culture, but obviously it worked very much for me growing up because of what was going on with the Thatcher years, the miners' strikes and all that kind of stuff. And Billy just talked about stuff that even though I might have been looking elsewhere, it's where I was. It's where my dad was in his views as well. There's one line, there's several lines, from the King James Version. He was trapped in a haircut that he no longer believed in. That's a line from that song. He was trapped in a haircut that he no longer believed in. And there are so many one-liners in Billy's songs. And what's the other one? She was like a dark cloud wearing a dress. We've all met someone like that, I think. And there was on CD number 4, which is actually, this could be, as I say, I've dipped into many of them, but this one I dipped in several times. But I really like this one. Tender Comrade is a solo vocal piece, and it's fantastic. But Little Time Bomb is a great song as well, and she's got a new spell. This one, CD number 4, is really, really good. And what's this one as well, which I've got here? Oh, the reason why I put this one to one side was it's because it has Jerusalem on it. Quintessential English stuff, isn't it? And Billy Bragg sings that really, really well. And there's the field recordings, part 12 from 2016-2017, which was just recorded literally on the train tracks in train stations. I love that as well. That's one of my favourites. I've already mentioned part 7, 1996-97, with the King James version, which is probably one of my favourite songs as well. And also, that's right, Blake's Jerusalem's on this one. But there is so much to explore here. The first stuff is very kind of aggressive rhythm guitar with Billy really shouting out what's going on around him. And the first 2 to 3 CDs are from that period. But as it goes on and more Johnny Marr joins on guitar and other musicians come in, it kind of broadens and Billy's voice kind of falls back and it becomes more folky, a bit more Dylan in there as well. And I enjoy that aspect, I have to say, a lot better. And there is one disc, I don't know if I've pulled it out. Yes, I have. And it's the unreleased stuff. There's some stuff he did with KT Tunstall. Of course, I recently interviewed Susie Quattro and the album she made with KT. And The Drugs Don't Work, which is by The Verve. Love that. It's an absolutely wonderful version. But this is a really, really great box set. If you're a fan of Billy Bragg, you want to know more about Billy Bragg, you can get the 2 CD version, 39 tracks. Or if you want to pull back a bit, you can get the single vinyl version, but there's 2 CD version. There's loads of stuff you're going to love on there. And the triple vinyl one basically expands across the 2 CD version. But I think if you are into Billy stuff, the way he has curated this with the label, and the way also, as you saw with the booklet, the fact it takes a different route, and it's Billy literally taking you around his house. That's how it feels, around his living room, saying these are all the things he's collected as his life as a professional musician, and these are the things that the trigger points, the memories, the key moments in his life, and he's sharing them with you. And that's lyrically what Billy Bragg has done for over 40 years. He's shared how he feels, and he's managed to tap into how many of you and verbalise into songs what many of us feel in our hearts sometimes over lots of very, very key issues. I know that when I was going through that period in the 80s, I might have been elsewhere, but I also was being touched by what was going on with life and our government at that time. And Billy was vocalising, as I said at the start of the video, when me and my fellow band members sat down and said, you know, musically I'm not quite sure, but lyrically, isn't that where we all are? So that is Billy Bragg. 40 years, his entire career, in a box or a triple vinyl album or a single vinyl album or a 2 CD set. So that is out now. And thank you for watching, thank you for being here. Please subscribe to YouTube, join the Facebook group, interconnect with lots of other music fans around the world. We've also got a virtual meetup on Zoom every month now for patrons and YouTube members. Lots of new videos coming up. Remember, music is the healer and the doctor. Please take care, keep spinning those discs, and I shall see you very, very soon.